A quiet night. The winds are expected to kick into high gear to start the weekend, and tonight it has Northern California on fire alert. We have team coverage for you tonight with meteorologist Lisa Meadows in the Weather Center tracking the high wind advisory.
But first, we head out to CBS 13's Drew Balea. He's live at the Capitol with how PG&E is preparing for these winds after it was determined that their lines caused 2 small fires in wine country. Drew?
Well, right now, it's solely up to the utility company to make a decision on whether or not to cut power to the grid during these high wind events. But there's a bill making its way through the Capitol that could soon require these utility companies to take action.
It only takes a spark to start a wildfire.
Don't be complacent, because we're still in the thick of things.
State fire officials are warning people to be vigilant as high, dry winds are expected throughout the Sacramento Valley.
These winds will push vegetation fires this weekend if something does start.
This week, fire investigators in Santa Rosa determined it was PG&E power lines blowing in high winds that sparked 2 small fires during the October wine country disaster.
We knew that there was going to be red flag warning winds.
Napa State Senator Bill Dodd says some of the devastation could have been avoided. He's introduced a bill that would require utility companies to come up with policies and protocol for when to de-energize power lines in a high wind situation. Right now, there is no standard.
Had we had something like this in place, we more than likely would have not had anywhere near the damage or anywhere near the amount of fires that we've had in the state of California.
Cutting power to the grid would have a ripple effect. It would impact communication, homes, and businesses.
People could lose internet and phone access. Businesses would close and emergency responders impacted.
Safety is always our top priority at PG&E, and we're constantly evaluating the impact shutting off power can have to our customers.
Power lines weren't proactively shut off in October, and PG&E doesn't plan to cut power this weekend either.
At this time, current weather forecasts do not indicate an immediate need to de-energize parts of our system in this area.
As I mentioned, there is no standard right now, but the San Diego Gas and Electric Company does cut off power to parts of their grid when there are high wind events, and they've done so more than a dozen times over the past few years.
Drew Balea live in Sacramento. Drew, thank you. Now let's turn things over to meteorologist Lisa Meadows.
She's in the Weather Center now with more on how strong the winds might get. Lisa?
Well, definitely strong enough to prompt a wind advisory. You could see it right here. A wind advisory will go into effect tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. This goes until 10 p.m. And notice that a lot of this is for the Sacramento Valley, especially the western edge of the Sacramento Valley. Basically, Sacramento to the north, anticipating the strongest of the winds. Here it is on Futurecast. We're anticipating winds out of the north, and they'll be coming in at about 20 to 30 miles per hour. But your wind gusts could be up to 40 to 45 miles per hour. So that is definitely enough to cause some issues across Northern California. So here's what you need to do. If you haven't done so yet, get up early and make sure you make some preparations. If you have any loose objects outside, any yard furniture, something you want to make sure you either buckle down or take inside. Also, avoid outdoor burning. As Drew was just saying, we have low relative humidity. We have strong winds out of the north. If we get a spark out there, that's going to move very fast. So make sure you're not doing anything outside that could cause a spark. And of course, if you have a high profile vehicle, those are hard to drive or maneuver in these types of winds. So make sure you use caution with any driving with this. This is one system one day on Saturday, but by the time we go into Monday, we have another system pushing in. Wind's not an issue, but looking at a little bit of snow, so maybe some slick roadways. I'll break that down your full forecast coming up in just a bit, guys.
Okay, Lisa, see you then.